everybody, Carla here. I know it's been a while, and I definitely plan on having some new videos up sometime in the next few weeks, hopefully, if I have some time. But before I do that, I wanted to just have a little chat about this new, Wall Street Journal piece that came out a little while ago about Marvel Studios and particularly Kevin Feige and why Marvel Studios hasn't been doing really well over this past few years, maybe like the last couple of phases. First of all, I want to start with that disclaimer. I don't like people love to dunk on Marvel now. Like Marvel's not great. And I don't know. I guess I don't want to be gatekeeper or anything, and that's certainly not what I mean. But it does tell me something that when people talk about how Marvel has ups and downs and it's mostly downs lately, that sort of argument just makes me think, well, these people clearly aren't comic fans, because that's the status quo with comics, right? Like they usually have more bad runs than they do amazing runs, and I'm like, do you really expect every single Marvel movie to be amazing? That seems like a stretch. And obviously some will be better than others. I don't subscribe to this idea that they're all bad now. I don't think the Marvel universe is dying. I do think, sorry, I keep forgetting which side of the thing my camera is on. Anyway, I do think certainly it doesn't have quite the same feel as it did at the beginning, and I partly think it's because, at least for me, I don't quite connect as much with the cosmic side of things. And I said it, I think, in my Medium blog at some point. It's why I don't connect with stuff like Guardians of the Galaxy or Thor, because it seems very, far removed from just life, like regular life. And that's not saying, obviously, this is science fiction, so I'm not saying that everything has to be grounded or anything, but it does, there's something about those smaller stories, those more grounded in character stories, that I quite enjoy. It's part of why I love, say, the first two Ant-Man movies. I really loved. So I don't disagree that many of these movies just aren't connecting as much, but I don't think they're bad. I think they're entertaining, most of them. The ones I didn't like are probably just the ones that I wouldn't have liked anyway, like the Doctor Strangers of it all. I don't care about Doctor Strange. Sorry, I didn't like the first one either. So I guess that's that. But I do like some of the ones that people love to dunk on. I like the Marvels. I thought it was fun. I mean, it's not super consequential in the grand scheme of things, but I enjoyed it. I like seeing those three characters. I like Miss Marvel, the TV shows, so I found it entertaining. I just, last week, just watched Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania for the first time, and while I do still love the first two Ant-Man movies much better, Ant-Man and the Wasp is my jam. While I do still love the first two much better, I liked it. Was fine. It like I said, it doesn't connect as much with me because everything is very far removed from life on Earth, and I don't relate as much to that. But I do love the characters. I do like the story. I love Cassie Lang. I can't wait to see her again. So I don't subscribe to this idea that the Marvel universe is bad now. I don't think. I do think that it has veered a lot into this whole cosmic slash multiverse type of thing that doesn't connect as much with audiences. I don't think the problem with that is necessarily that the quality of the movies has gone down so much. It's that those stories just don't resonate as much with people, and maybe the idea of it was not as great in concept as the original Infinity Saga was, which took place mostly on Earth, apart from a few other movies that took place in space or whatever, took place mostly on Earth. I have not seen all the Disney Plus TV shows either, mostly because I am poor and I do not have money to subscribe to Disney Plus on a consistent basis, so I usually just subscribe for like a month at a time and watch everything there is to watch on there. At least everything that calls out to me. I've watched a few. I watched like I said, I watched Miss Marvel. I like that. I watched the first season of Loki, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which I really enjoyed. I don't know why people don't like that one as much. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool. Like, I've watched a few. I haven't watched stuff like She-Hulk or whatever. It's not because I have anything against the show itself. It's just I don't care for She-Hulk, I don't care for Hulk either. It's like there's just no. And I have been measuring the amount of times I actually go to the theater to see these things because, like I said, I am poor. I'm very broke, and I do not have money to go to the movie theater. So, like, if I could, I would go watch every Marvel movie. Like, it's not a quality issue for me. I would go and I would enjoy myself. I just can't afford it. It's very expensive. So, yeah, this whole thing where people just shit on the Marvel Cinematic Universe nowadays and say that it's bad. It's not bad, guys. It's wide and sprawling and not as relevant to people's lives anymore because it's very, very much rooted in the fantastical side of things rather than the terrestrial, like, real life character driven side of things. And there's a lot of discourse on that, especially now that Thunderbolts is coming out. I am very excited for Thunderbolts. I was actually not going to go watch it in theater because, again, broke. But, the reviews are so good. I've been waiting for it. Like, I'm just gonna... I have to choose my battles, right? So I'm gonna go watch 2 movies this year. Fantastic Four and How to Train Your Dragon, which I hope to watch in IMAX. So I'm like, I can't afford the third one, which would be Thunderbolts. But then the reviews started coming out, and they're so good. And I am so excited for that movie that I'm like, okay, who needs food anyway? I'm just gonna go to the theater to watch Thunderbolts. So I'm hoping to go this week. But anyways, because Thunderbolts came out just last week, and it's apparently really good, and people are enjoying it and keep saying the MCU is back, there's this, like, feeling, right? It's like the MCU was done for. It was over. It was dead. And now it's back. I don't buy that sort of stuff. I do think the MCU is not as great. Personally, I would attribute that to more of a conceptual thing rather than an execution thing. Again, it's like I just don't think this multiverse thing was as enjoyable as the concept for the Infinity Saga to begin with, for all the reasons I've stated. But anyway, this past week there was a profile or some sort of like deep dive article on the Wall Street Journal of all places on Marvel Studios, particularly in the case of Kevin Feige. And I don't necessarily disagree with anything that I've heard. I haven't read the article because I am not subscribing to the Wall Street Journal. Nope, sorry. Rupert Murdoch can go, clean floors. I don't care. So anyway, but like, I don't think anything that's in the article is necessarily bad. Like, I don't disagree. I do think it's, the gist of it is that Disney, the company, was pushing Marvel Studios to make content for Disney Plus. And because of that, they had to make so much content for Disney Plus that the content on Disney Plus was low quality. And then the movies suffered because Kevin Feige just had to spread himself so thin. And, like, I get it. I think if that's what happened, and I don't have any reason to not believe it is, then it's a good thing that they seem to be recalibrating. I am personally excited for that because, again, I am an X-Men fan. I have said this like a bajillion times. I'm an X-Men fan. The mutants are my favorite thing. The Fox properties, like the X-Men and the Fantastic Four, are my favorite parts of Marvel comics, like growing up. Those were my 2 things. I don't care about the Avengers, right? Like, the fact that they made me care about the Avengers is like a feat on itself, right? Because I don't care about the Avengers. I don't care about any of these characters, to be fair. Like Ant-Man, Hawkeye, maybe. Like, I am that weirdo who just does not care. So, like, I was a lot more into the Fox universe than I was the Marvel universe, and I was really worried when Disney bought Fox, because I thought, okay, now all these characters are going to have to directly like compete with my X-Men and my Fantastic Four in terms of time and production like costs and like just budgets and everything. Like there's only so much bandwidth that one studio can have to use all these characters, so it's gonna end up in me getting less X-Men than I'm used to. And that has been the fact so far, because obviously there hasn't been any X-Men in Marvel since they bought the since the studio bought Fox, like how many years ago now? And it's only now that they're gonna start bringing them in, those characters in, and not even yet. Like in Doomsday, like it's still a year away. So like I have a point. I had a point with that, and I think the point still applies. But I am glad at least that if they're bringing the mutants in, if they're bringing the Fantastic Four in, it's gonna be in a way where Kevin Feige actually gives them the respect and like dedication that they should have. Okay, I think that's a good thing. But I think there's one issue that is bothering me, and 12 13 minutes into this recording, and I'm finally going to make my point. I think there's an issue, sorry. I think there's an issue here that I am not sure people are like even thinking about, which still makes me worry. People seem really excited because it seems like Marvel is course correcting. Again, I don't think they were like in the shitter or anything, but I think it is good that they like re-examine their priorities, because like I said, the multiverse saga just didn't do it for me, right? Like it's just not my thing, and I think that was a conceptual error. So maybe if Kevin Feige is like 100% in this, maybe this upcoming saga, which we're assuming is the mutant saga, is going to be actually better, in the sense that the introduction of the X-Men will make things less about the spectacle and more about the characters, which I want. So I don't think anything that's in the Wall Street Journal piece is necessarily a bad thing, but what worries me is the implication from that article is that without Kevin Feige, Marvel just falls apart. Again, I don't believe they fell apart, but the implication from that article and from all the fans chiming victory right now is that Marvel depends 100% on Kevin Feige. And if he's not around, everything is shit. And I don't know, like, I'm glad that Kevin Feige is coming back, because I think he's great. I think he's a visionary, and I'm glad that he's there to supervise. But like an entire studio's output depending on one person is not a good thing. Do people think this is a good thing? Like Kevin Feige, like, look, knock on wood. This isn't wood, but like I will knock on it anyway. Kevin Feige, God bless his soul, he's the actual best, and I wish him nothing but health and safety for the rest of eternity. But Kevin Feige is just human. He could be run over by a bus tomorrow. And then what happens to Marvel? And what has Kevin Feige been doing all these freaking years, if not like teaching people to succeed him? I know, capitalism, whatever, you want to make yourself indispensable, I guess, because that's how you get the big bucks. Go, get it, Kevin Feige, get that money, but come on. The entirety of Marvel Studios, television and movies, should not depend just on Kevin Feige. He cannot be the only person who can make a good Marvel movie be good. That's a recipe for disaster. And it might work for the mutant saga as long as Kevin Feige is around. What if Kevin Feige decides to retire? What if he, again, knock on wood, what if he gets sick and has to retire? What if he just decides, you know what, this stress isn't worth my time. I've got so many millions already. I don't need to work a day more in my life. I'm just going. Bye, suckers. Like, and then what about Marvel? What happens to Marvel? Nobody can do the job? There's no one? People keep making this into a victory, and I get why. Because I get it. I know it's a good thing, but I hope it's also a lesson, like at the same time as it is a lesson on, how to make Marvel movies good, how to refocus Marvel movies so that they are mostly good. As much as that is a lesson that has to come out of this, the other lesson should be Kevin Feige shouldn't be the only person who can make good movies in this freaking studio. Like, and also there's like this little comment about how whenever Kevin Feige feels like he is, I don't know, like at a tense point, like something isn't working right and he needs to make a quick change, he goes back to like the well of people that he already knows and trusts. And that's lovely. It's a lovely feeling for those people, I'm sure. But also, like, are you just gonna have the Russo brothers make every movie like that? No, that's not a good thing. Like, I don't know about you guys, but part of the appeal of Phase 1 and 2 of the MCU for me was that all the movies felt very different. And that was not because of Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige is the same person. That was because they brought in different directors with different visions for different movies, and they all felt different. And we have lost that in the, CGI fest that was the multiverse saga, but that is a thing. And it's a real thing, I know, because that's what's happening with Thunderbolts right now. That's why people like Thunderbolts, because it's one new director who's brought his own style while still doing what Kevin Feige, like, in the overall arc wants him to do. You know what I mean? Like, but like, it's his movie, his style. It's visually different. I haven't watched it yet, but from the trailers I can already tell it's visually different. It's about mental health. Like, a movie that is about something is like something that we haven't seen in a long while in the MCU. And it used to be like that. Like, Winter Soldier is like a spy movie. Ant-Man is a heist. Even Doctor Strange was like time traveling dimensional hijinks. Those like specific, and these people who are loving Thunderbolts right now, I suspect, are many of the same people who trashed on Ant-Man because it was a smaller movie that had no stakes. That's what gives it flavor. God damn it. And now that you don't have that, that's when they miss it. Like, the hypocrisy. I'm just saying. Anyway, I will stop that rant before it gets too long, because trust me, I could go about that for an hour and it's really not what it's about, but I'm just saying, my point is hearing about that Wall Street Journal article and everything that's been going on with Marvel, I am glad that it sounds like things are taking a turn. I don't think Marvel was done for, unlike most other people, but I do think most of their movies haven't really been resonating as much as the original ones did. I don't think that's the problem of the individual movies. I don't think that's necessarily a problem of Kevin Feige relinquishing too much control. It might be an issue of Disney exerting too much control and just an overall flawed concept. They thought the multiverse thing would work. It might work in the comics. Honestly, I guess for most people it's not like this, but like for me, even in the comics, it just doesn't work. Like, the best stories are the ones that are grounded in something we can relate to. And it's very difficult to relate to a movie or a story when it's about people doing all these fantastical things. Like, it shouldn't be about the fantastical things, it should be about the people, right? And I think for me that was kind of the problem. And frankly, I think Kevin Feige might be part of that problem. But still, I hope that they're taking this chance to reassess in a positive way. And I think that's a good idea because, of course, the mutants are coming. And I want them to be done justice, right? But anyway, my whole point about this was if the thing remains that Kevin Feige is the only person who can actually make the Marvel Cinematic Universe be good, and he remains that way post all this like reimagining of the MCU, that is still a problem. And as much as everybody's cheering right now, I'm worried because it shouldn't be like that. They should be working as a team in the studio rather than following the directives of this larger company or just one person. That it shouldn't be like that. Filmmaking should be a collaborative effort. Storytelling should be a collaborative effort. And it makes me really anxious that they're hailing this whole Kevin Feige's coming back thing as a major victory when it still got the same weakness it had before. So yeah, I guess that's kind of all I wanted to say. It's a longer video than I thought. I guess I had a lot to say about it, but you know me and how it goes with Marvel. I tend to be like go against the grain with what most fanboys out there are going to think. I don't know. It's just I have my preferences, and I know that not everybody sees things the same way as I do. So like I'm not begrudging anybody for being happy when they read this article. Like I said, there's nothing in the article that I think is incorrect necessarily, and I think it's a good idea that these things are happening now inside of Marvel. It's just maybe we're not focusing on the actual real problem, which is that there should be more than one person at Marvel who can make a good movie and who can lead the cinematic universe in the direction it's supposed to go. So, love you, Kevin Feige. Have a great time back at work, but like maybe train some interns to rise up behind you. Like, I don't know. I genuinely don't know what the solution is, but I hope we have Marvel movies to, to last us for the rest of my life. I don't want the Marvel Cinematic Universe to fail. I'm okay with them making less TV shows as long as they can focus on the quality rather than the quantity. I think that's a good thing. But I don't think TV shows in themselves are a bad idea. Like, I enjoyed quite a few of them, even those that people like to trash for some reason. So, yeah, I would hope to see more. I also, before I go, I wanted to add, I was watching one video about this earlier today, and one of the frankly, odd conclusions that the person in the video kind of came to is that because you're trying to go back to like phase 1 Marvel type of thing, that it would be a good idea to introduce the mutants one by one, like give them individual movies that lead up to the big team up. And I'm like, sir, do you not understand what the X-Men are? Like, sure, you can make individual movies for X-Men characters. Like, I guess the Fox X-Men universe kind of proved that. Some of them, at least, like Logan was great. You can make individual movies for individual characters, those that merit it. But, like, the draw of the X-Men is that they're a group. Sir, they're not like the Avengers. The Avengers are all, like, solo superheroes. The X-Men are not. They're not. The strength from the mutants isn't that they're together. That is what makes them stronger. Like, it's a whole metaphor for people in minority groups, people who are discriminated against, to band together so that humanity can come to respect them. Like, sir, like, these takes, I don't know where these takes are coming from, but like, no, you start with an X-Men movie. If you're gonna do X-Men, like, I don't care if they're like sprinkling them into other movies. Like, I don't care that they're all gonna be in Avengers Doomsday. That's fine. But like, first movie out of the gate for the mutant saga has to be an X-Men movie. Not a Wolverine movie, not a Storm movie or a I don't know, Charles Xavier movie or whatever it is that you want to make. It needs to be an X-Men movie. And then you can split off. That's fine. You can have spin-offs. It's okay. The X-Men, the core group of X-Men, need to be a thing first. That's how you love them. That's how you get people to love them. So, like, I don't know. Some of these things are so weird, you guys. Everybody wants to be like a studio producer nowadays. It's not. Just, that's not what it is. Okay, anyway. I've been talking for way too long already, but like, these things just blow my mind. So, yeah. I hope you enjoyed my little rant today. We'll see where the MCU goes after this. Hopefully in a better direction, in a good direction. I don't expect every single movie to be great. Obviously, they'll still have some like cosmic, otherworldly stuff because that is kind of what comics do. It's not my favorite thing in the world. That's why I always stuck with like either the X-Men or the Fantastic Four and I didn't venture into the crossover stuff. But it is what it is. So, like, the MCU is still going to keep doing that. Hopefully they can do it in a way that more movies are good than not, at least for the fanboys. And we'll see. I don't know. Hopefully this is a good turnaround. Hopefully Feige is thinking about his exit strategy, not because he has to leave, but like what happens if he does have to leave. And maybe we're building up people from the ground up to keep this cinematic universe going, even if Kevin Feige isn't around. So that's it. That's my take. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you guys in my next video whenever that comes, hopefully soon. We'll see. Bye, guys.